Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? Update now on stocks I'm watching for trading for the next week or two. It's August 7th, 2022. I've got shorts and longs to watch and consider. So let's just cut right to the chase real quick. Let's go with the shorts first. Marriott. So again, in my usual setup, the daily chart up here, weekly here on the lower left, daily up here in the upper left. 60 and 15, a little less important with the swing trades, maybe the 60 a little bit, but what I've seen here on the weekly chart on this Marriott, beautiful, huge retracement down, right? And it's retraced here nicely. Now notice this. It's retraced right to where the 20 and 40 are crossing. Death cross, if you will, right? To make it sound ominous. It's gap filled here. It's retraced probably about 70, 80%, 70% of this move down. Right in the normal, like higher end Fibonacci retracement areas. If you're looking to get short, Marriott might be a good short here around 155. Stop 163-ish, and you're looking for a move back down to these previous lows of the flat 200 and the 135 area, say 140 area. So calculate your reward to risk there. Something to consider. I've got this on my watch list as a possible short. Deer, another one here, weekly chart. You see downtrend has come up. You got, just like the major markets, you've got crossovers on the 20s and 40s on the daily chart because the retracement has been so solid. But on the weekly, you can see it's just a blip, right? It's a decent, if you look at this move here, it's about from this little pivot here. I mean, you got another pivot here, maybe a 50% retracement, right? And only probably about a 30% retracement off the bigger move here, right to the rolling over, curling over moving averages on the weekly. You got resistance to the left, minor resistance. I think you got a shot here looking for a short. Maybe about a 335 entry and a 345, 350 stop would be your look, and then you're looking for a move back down to these previous lows around 280, 290. So deer is another one to watch on your to be putting on your watch list as a potential short. This one's been interesting. It's moved up here and it had this kind of blow off. Look at this volume day with the topping tails. It peaked this little turtle head above the resistance area there, right? Right in the declining 20 on the weekly chart. Again, a lot of times this is a sign of people getting in long, thinking, okay, we're turning around here. So if things potentially fall apart and start to move south again after this multi-week run higher, this is one I think to watch. You got a nice tight stop here around the top of this candle. Say 90. Let's just round to $94 a share. It puts you above all this stuff. So that's my uncle point where I just get the heck out of Dodge. And then short wise, you can look to go down on a 60-minute chart, maybe a break below this triangle here at around 86. Okay, or look for more of a confirmation of a move down to the lower ranges of this candle, where it gapped down here on Friday and then went straight up, cleansed a lot of the shorts out, I think, anyway. But I like this as a potential short, especially if we get more of a move down in the market over the next week or two. All right, Capital One Financial here in a nice long weekly downtrend here. It's down to the 200 period moving average. Notice the 200 period moving average on the weekly chart is holding this thing up. You've got moving averages moving lower. You've got the market has been moving up, remember, for the last couple weeks. What has KOF done here? Nada. It's been completely flaccid, limp, useless, right? So right in the same area here, I think a break off this triangle, maybe off if we can get a lower low under about 101. You could even get more aggressively get under here at 104. You're stopping here about 111, 112, or 116. The 200 period is holding it up, but is getting no uptrend. With everything else moving up, this one hasn't. That's relative weakness, my friend. KOF, throw it on your watch list as a possible short. Another one potentially watching here is Foot Locker. You've got, again, downtrend on the weekly, retracing back up here to minor resistance, tons of resistance to this area to the left. You've got a retracement, 60, 70% of this move here, okay? Again, market's been going up. This one has come up here a little bit. It's gone from about the 24 mark to the 28 mark. Definitely not as healthy of a move up as most of the major market indices, Qs, and the SPYs. I like this as relative weakness. I think it's a short opportunity. You got a pretty tight stop. I mean, you could technically X-ray down here to a 2760-ish entry with a 2029, say, stop, and then you're looking for a move back down to these lows and beyond. Again, if we get things rolling out, if things don't roll over, we go higher. Then if it doesn't trigger, you don't get in. But if it triggers, you get in, and if it gets up to your stop, you get out. Done. End the story. Now I want to share with you a few long ideas to watch. No specific entries on here, but you can see the patterns. Pepsi, is holding up here pretty well. You got a possible triple top happening. You got a kind of a double bottom pattern setting up here too. So you can see here about 178 is the highs on the weekly chart with these topping tails. If we can get kind of a head of steam going over 178, I think you can look to buy this, but then you've got to figure out, okay, where's your stop at, and then what's your extrapolated move, because you'll be up in the wild blue yonder here. You got no resistance to the left to look to for potential targets, which is a good thing. It's clear air, so technically you can go as far as you want. So what I typically do is look at previous moves. You've got a move here about 155 to say 170. So let's just say a $15 move. Well, a $15 move off this pivot, say 168 and 15. 78 and 5, 183 would be a potential target, 184, 185 maybe in that area. So depending on where you get in and where your pivot is for a stop, you got to do your calculation and your reward to risk to make sure it's worth it. But Pepsi is definitely worth watching. It's strong, stronger than a lot of the others. Waste Management's another one I want to share. Look at the strength here. Very similar, right? This double bottom type pattern up near the tops. It's up extended here on the daily. Look for a base or something. But Waste Management here looks fairly strong. This one, oops. American Tower here, kind of setting up a cup and handle here on the daily chart. Not quite as strong, not up near new highs, but definitely trying to roll over here on the weekly chart. On the daily chart is trying to uptrend. So I think this one's definitely worth throwing on your potential long watch list. AMT. Let's look at a few others here. This one, Heiko, you can see aggressive move back up to the highs. Basically, you got a classic flag pattern here. I'd love to see it flag just a little longer, let the moving averages catch up, maybe get a little bit of a retracement in the general markets, and then the markets decide they want to go higher. This one could be a potentially nice one to buy above the highs here. Stop a little low of the flag. HEI, put her on watch. Dollar General, another one here. You can see it near highs. Relative strength, keep it on watch for long. General Mills, all your favorite cereals made here. You got a flag setting up here. You got a base. You got a cup with a handle setting up. You got a little bit of a cup and a handle on the weekly chart up near highs. Uptrending, uptrending, uptrending. Everything's uptrending on this thing. General Mills, worth watching. For show. Advanced Drainage System. I used to own this stock. I've been out of it for a while, but you can see here now as aggressively, I don't know what's going on, what's catalyzing this, but I mean, it's a huge move. And at this point, do not buy it. Please do not buy it after this extension. Wait for it to flag or base or something. It's way too extended here to buy right now, but definitely put it on your radar. If you got a minder where you're watching your stuff to trade, this one is showing massive strength. Definitely worthwhile. This is one I owned way back in the day, and I started buying back into this as it looks like it's trying to trade trend, but it is in a downtrend here on the weekly still, trying to roll over, but it's giving me a bottoming type of pattern here. So I'm looking at this thing as a possible breakout over these highs for window. It's thinner. It's cheaper, but I would not be backing up the truck on this thing and buying a lot of shares because you can see it's very thin. It doesn't trade a lot of volume, and you can get caught in this thing without a way to get out if you buy too many shares. So nibble, nibble, nibble on the smaller one. I know it might be enticing to try to buy a crap load of it since it's so cheap, but trust me, you don't want to do that. You don't want to play that game because getting caught in something like this ain't cool. Sage. Another one that's really popping here. You can see the weekly chart's been destroyed, but when you see candles like this, just put it on watch. I don't see any action. I don't see myself buying this in the next week or two. I want to see what happens now that it's done this. But I think it's worth watching, so I wanted to share that with you. Fold's another one that's done very similar. It's up here near 52-week highs, though. So, again, not to buy tomorrow, but definitely to put on a watch, on a minder, so that you can kind of keep a good eye on that. Last but not least, LPLA here, many days up, 52-week highs. Again, not to buy tomorrow, but wait for a flag or a base. Wait for a pattern. You put it on a miner. You revisit it every day, couple days, see what's happening with it, and then if it gets you get your setup, reward risk makes sense, fire away. Okay? All right, guys, that's the update as of this Sunday. Trade well. Follow your plan. Take your stops. Get your targets. Take them. Have a good one. Until next time.